The most fundamental one is money. Social rents are genuinely affordable, but they bring in less money to spend on management and maintenance. And subsequently, housing revenue account budgets are tight under the self-financing rules. But we're always looking to develop ways in which we can explore the model of council housing to move towards more universal mixed income tenure, while never losing that priority on providing housing for most vulnerable residents. So the financial piece is obviously key, and with that we need a radically improved grant level, in spite of the strong mandate that Sadiq Khan had when he became mayor a few years ago, and getting the grant level up to 100,000 per unit for council housing. It's still barely a third of the development cost of most of our homes. That historically, that doesn't compare well to different periods over the last 50, 60 years. Further to that, we've got right to buy, which is a continuing downward trend on the upward escalator of meeting housing need. We've lost over 1,400 homes since the right to buy discount was deepened back in 2012. And many of those homes end up being let out at private rents to people who in other circumstances would be eligible for a council house. So it's a real difficulty there. Further to that, we've got, unfortunately in the minute, a government that lacks basic expertise in housing economics. In my view, I thought there was an emerging consensus when Theresa May was Prime Minister. We had lots of disagreements over housing, but she did have proper housing experts in Downing Street who were making progress on things like lifting the HRA debt cap, bringing in homelessness prevention legislation, albeit without funding, as well as improving the monies available for affordable house building. But you know, we're just back in the kind of comfort zone of Tory ideological right, where certainly with the latest planning white paper, they're prioritising a version of affordable home ownership, which is actually unaffordable to most residents in Southwark, raising the threshold up to 50 homes, under which any developments don't need to provide any affordable housing, which, given the nature of a built-up inner city area, is really damaging for affordable housing supply, removing democratic oversight of applications, seeming to get rid of designating specific land uses site by site. So that basic post-war settlement that land use is in under local democratic control is genuinely under threat. And I think most fundamentally, it's become a bit of a tub-thumping theme of mine, is the land compensation regime we have. Land trading in many parts of the country, when you're looking at agricultural to residential uses, often have sales prices that are many, many multiples the existing use value of a given site. In Southwark, we have sometimes discrepancies between the existing use value and transaction prices of 4 or 5 times the amount. And in areas which we have designated for growth, like the Old Kent Road, it simply means that site by site, you've got sometimes tens of millions of pounds being lost in deadweight value to a landowner, where no effort or investment has gone in. It's simply by dint of the fact that you've got a land compensation regime protected by the RICS guidance and the Land Compensation Act of 1961 that enshrines the speculative premium, the hope value of a site, and subsequently leaves less financial space for affordable housing and infrastructure contributions. So that skewers the entire pattern of development, and it makes it a lot harder to meet housing need and to do the fundamental tasks that town planning ought to be doing. So land reform now is my mate, particularly for inner city London, would be my number one ask.
How does that happen? I mean, what's the art of the possible there, Leo? What needs to happen for that to take place? What sort of steps are you going to go through or try and push through?
Well, in Southwark, we've built an evidence base showing the difference between existing use values and real sales prices site by site. So you can look at the differences between those figures, and obviously a part of that should probably be a profit for the land owner, just to incentivize development coming forward. But I think the main piece is that it damages the rate at which homes are built in the first place. And this was all detailed quite clearly with Oliver Letwin's report on build-out rates a couple of years ago, but he has the wrong instincts on Brexit. So he's the wrong kind of Tory, and he's out of the picture now. So I think if the government are serious about a levelling up agenda and want to be providing the right kind of living life course for people in working class backgrounds, they need to get some proper housing experts back into Downing Street. Toby Lloyd left with Theresa May. They should reappoint him right away and do as he says.
Thank you very much, Councillor, for answering our questions today. Viewers, if you'd like to see more of this interview, it's posted in 7 parts over 7 days at thevoiceofauthority.co.uk. The Voice of Authority presents the ambitions, the challenges, the values, the drivers, the motivations and the influences of key people at councils in their own words. This is where you find out what matters most to top people at the councils you want to do business with. The Voice of Authority is one of the channels created by 3Fox, the marketing agency for councils, to keep our network of councils, developers, investors and their advisors and influencers connected. Find out more about our channels and opportunities to participate in webinars, in interviews and other campaigns at www.3fox.co.uk.